it's this idea of how are we living in our life? How are we being in our life? Are we reimagining our prosperity no matter what is going on, no matter what outside circumstance, situation? I don't know about y'all, but I'm really working and doing my spiritual practice when Peter tells us how much, quote, we've lost in the market lately and all of that. I don't pay attention to that because today I'm talking very briefly on financial freedom, but the significance about this that I want you to realize is that financial freedom is a state of mind, consciousness, spirit, universal presence, God, okay? Not brain, mind, but it's a state of mind, of consciousness, of the way that life works. And that's significant when things happen in our lives outside of us, things that sometimes we certainly can't control, though we can control our responsibility in our financial world, and our prosperity, again, is financial. It's also our relationships. Are we keeping them close? Are we keeping them current? Are we telling people we love them? Are we dropping the devices and spending, precious time with them? And yet, today, I'm talking about financial freedom, that freedom to move about the cabin of our life. It doesn't mean we have to have a boatload of money, but how are we moving in our life? Is it something we're anxious about, worried about, feeling lack about, not enough about? Because it is a state of mind. Ernest Holmes tells us, he comes from a scientific perspective. He says, it is unscientific to dwell upon lack, for it will create the undesired condition. I'm just going to stop right there, put a place mark, pause. When Petra said how much, this was about 3 days ago, how much, when she was doing our finances and stuff, and the statements came in and downloaded, she said how much we had lost. I watched my state of mind go down the rabbit hole really quick. Anybody else join me in some of those rabbit holes? Yes. And this is why I don't look at it. I don't. I haven't done that for decades. Sometimes when the statements come in, I'll go, yay, and there we go, and then that's a new mental equivalent. But recently she said that. And I'm like, I watched my state of mind go to lack. Oh my God, I'm 57 soon. And she's and oh my gosh, we're at the later stages of our life. No. And I went, Karen, there is no lack in the universe. And so he says this, it's unscientific to dwell upon it. Because I knew if I dwell upon this lack and the money that I, quote, just lost, it's going to attract more of that. And I don't want that to happen. It is scientific, he says, to meditate on plenty. So that's where I went. Okay, there is plenty to go around. There is plenty in our investments. As the tide goes out, it must come in. So I focused on the in, right? Scientific, to meditate on plenty, to bring the mind to a point of conceiving this eternal flow of life. See, life just keeps flowing, so I'm inviting in the inflow. Truth and energy through us. And through everything that we do, say, or think. So when, it's not an if, but when something comes up in your state of mind, your consciousness, about lack, you can tell yourself, well, that's unscientific. That just doesn't work. I'm gonna focus on that there is plenty. There is plenty. I have plenty of enough air. Do you? Or are you lacking right now? Right? The phone, we have plenty of technology. Plenty. Thank you, Spirit, right? Plenty, right? Start focusing on all the things that you have plenty of, right? I have plenty of friends. I have plenty of water when I turn the faucet on. I have plenty of electricity when I flip the light. We must do this. It's a constant state of our own consciousness, not anybody else's consciousness. We must do it within ourselves and meditate on that. And I go, oh, I got plenty of air. Yes, I got plenty of air right now. That's the same for my bank account. Right here, right now. I don't care what it says. Right here, right now. I have plenty of heartbeats. I don't even think about my heart. It just beats away. It beats away. It beats away. Oh my gosh, I have plenty of that too. And we begin to focus on that. There's something that I want to talk about that is unique that Ernest Holmes also mentions, that I know that there's someone in here that needs to hear this, okay? And it's about the word competition. Anybody? You don't have to show me, but I know it's for you. He says, sometimes we come up against the thought of competition. If you're about to start a business or anything, okay, I'm so glad I found this because I have to work on this, all right? If you're about to start anything, he says that there tends to be this belief that too many people are already engaged in it, in which we're interested. So whatever I'm interested in, there are already enough folks, right? Competition is a belief that there is not enough good to go around. And while believed in this thought, manifests itself in limitation. There it is again. So in other words, he says, we feel that our line of business is crowded. We must therefore be on tiptoe to keep ahead of the other fellow or feline, right? The probabilities are that we find ourselves crowded out. And so he says we must resolve this thought and send it back into the native nothingness from which it came. Because truth doesn't compete with anyone. So, he says we should not allow the thought to enter our minds that we're competing with anyone. We are not competing with anyone. You know, there's this thing with ministers sometimes, I got to tell you, especially when centers open up around them. It's like, oh, but you're going to take my people. Right? It's like, no, there's no competition. You know, come and go as you please. Do you know that the Isa family actually went to the Unity community and here, both, for the longest time? I wouldn't see them, and I'm like, oh, and then we're going to Unity. Great, go. And then they'd come here, and then I'm like, I'm so happy to see you now. I didn't stop going there and come here. I'm like, just whatever it takes to keep you happy. And then more and more and more. And then they released that community and came fully on board here. There's no competition. And I love this. Never watch to see what another is doing on how she or he is doing it. For when we do this, we are limiting our own possibilities to the range of another person's vision. Look at all the things that have been so successful so quickly lately. It's stuff that people haven't done before. There's a lot of people like, well, I'm going to mimic that. This restaurant's successful, all of a sudden you see something similar or whatever. So don't look to other people on what they're doing. We are this unique, individualized expression, the one and only masterpiece, never to come around again. There's a reason why we're here, and right now, and we've got something unique to bring to this planet. And I love this. He says, principle is not bound by precedent, and our good is not limited or conditioned by any good that has ever been made manifest. So it doesn't matter about your financial freedom up to this moment. Not at all. We should confidently expect a greater good than we've ever experienced or than we've ever known of anyone experiencing. It's really wonderful to live in an environment within our own life where we don't have to think about not enough. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough money. We don't have, So it doesn't matter what's ever happened in our life. It's not bound by any precedent of our life. And we focus. It's a state of mind. We focus on that there's good and more good. I've been saying that. There's good and more good, and I ought to have it. I accept my good. There's good and more good, and I ought to have it. I accept my good. I mean, like a mantra. I also do, other mantras where I have more than enough money to share and to spare. What mantras do you carry? I have to move with my state of mind. Even in this sort of arena that I actually play really well in. So no matter what we've ever known, we can change that and have more good in our life. We can have more financial stability in our life. That's one area we ought to not have stress about. We got other things we can think about. Let's don't think about that. Let's hold our state of mind to know that we have more than enough money to share. See where I start? And to spare. And it's not an amount. If we're not there consciously, if we haven't developed that consciousness. About a year ago, someone told me that they had not developed the state of consciousness within themselves, and they did win a large sum of money in the lottery game. And it went away really quick. It's not an amount of money, it's a state of mind. Financial freedom is a state of mind. And so constantly knowing I have more than enough to share and to spare. And that is my mantra when I start feeling squeezed. In these past few days, I started feeling squeezed. And it was just an imagined squeeze. Because the next time Peter talks about that report, she's going to say, we're good. Because that's what I expect. Right? Or something unexpected windfall that I couldn't even imagine. But I expect that too. I don't need to know where it comes from. Right? All right, last quote I want to share with you is that the proper kind of a denial is based upon the recognition that in the reality of things, there is no limitation. I'm going to put a bookmark here. If you're willing to admit it, how many of you said, yes, there is, inside you? Yeah, a few, right? That shows you something. There's something, and it's not the truth of life itself. There's something in you wanting to look at, no, everything is limited. It's like, there it is, and I'm going to prove that. And then guess what? Your life is going to prove that. So when you hear, like in reality, there is no limitation. In your mind go, yes, that's true. There's no limitation. There's no limitation. For mind can easily make a planet as it can an acorn. Mind, another word for God, spirit, universal presence, consciousness. It can easily make a planet as it can an acorn. It doesn't know big or little. Right? Doesn't know $1 million or a penny. I just say it's a bunch of nothings. And where are those zeros? In a penny, it's 0.01. $1 million, where are the zeros? It's a bunch of zeros, isn't it? It's 6 of them. It's a bunch of nothing. So consciousness doesn't care about a penny or $1 million. It doesn't care about an acorn or planet. It's us. It only knows that it is. It only knows it is $1 million. It only knows it is a penny. It only knows it is a planet. It only knows it is an acorn. Our state of mind is the mold in which it's poured. And so it's like, I don't have enough. It says, planet. It is. You don't have enough. Or it can be, I have more than enough to share and to spare. It is. There it is. It's an acorn. And it doesn't matter where the acorn in the planet goes. Financial freedom is a state of mind. There is no magic to it. It's the constant state that lives within each of us and how we hold it and where we go with it. And so every time something comes up that says, that's not enough, I'm not going to have enough, this job doesn't pay me enough, whatever it is, it's going to be proven, you're right. So why not change the state of mind and shift it when you catch it? When you're looking at that financial statement, when you're looking to pay your rent this month, whatever it is, change it. I have more than enough to share and to spare. I have more than enough to share and to spare. And if I'm taken care of, I always have more than enough to share and to spare. So we are all sitting on a gold mine. And where is that gold mine residing? In our mind, everywhere, consciousness, yes. That's the answer. Everywhere present. It's omnipresent. It never stops giving to itself. Use those metaphors. And it has to go inside of us. It's on the inside of us. The waterfalls. Turn on your water. Oh my goodness, watch a child play in the water. There's more than enough water all the time. Look at the electricity. Look at the friendships. Look at the connections. Whatever it is within your life that you say is more than enough, more than enough. Now tie it to financial freedom, money. If that, you got plenty of that and you need some more friendships or relationships or love or self-worth, or tie it to all these other examples. Because inside of us, we are sitting on a gold mine. Kirby? We are sitting on a gold mine. And it's within each of us. Freedom is a state of mind. Freedom is the state of our consciousness. Financial freedom is a state of mind. It is the state of our consciousness. And goodness knows we need everyone connected to this community to be financially prosperous, to continue to have a prosperous life and have enough to share and to spare, because it transforms lives here. Sitting on a gold mine. And the last thing I'm going to say before he starts, because I can, I'm just going to remind you, I'm not going to see you until September. I'm going on a sabbatical, first one in 8 years. I cannot thank you all enough. If you were not still financially giving strong, I promise you I would not be going. And if our staff wasn't as competent and brilliant as they are, I promise you I would not be going. I cannot thank you enough to give me so much financial freedom to go take care of me for 2 months and to do some creative stuff that you're going to love. And then take a vacation in August. So I'm going to ask you to keep sharing and sparing in this community through the summer. And then the last thing I'm going to ask you is show up to give Petra a lot of love, because she ain't going to see me for a couple of months, all right? Got to keep her going. Because let me tell you, this community is a gold mine for humanity, and humanity needs us more than ever right here and right now. We're sitting on a gold mine together.
So many doubts along the way. Felt like life was just another bill to pay without anything to show. But now I've figured out that every day my fortune's always found within my faith, and all I need is to let it flow. 'Cause there's no wall around me, only fear has truly bound me. And all I need is to trust that I'm free. I'm sitting on a gold mine. I'm sitting on a gold mine. My treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Finally, I'm breaking through so many lies. All those people telling me to run and hide, but from the truth of what I am. But now I'm telling you the future's brighter. Tomorrow shines like diamonds in the sky. And all I need to understand that whatever I'm believing, well, that's what I'm receiving from the riches that reside inside of me. I'm sitting on a gold mine. I'm sitting on a gold mine. My treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. So don't you listen, never listen to the voice that says you better play it safe, that you don't have any choice, 'cause you're as gifted as an angel, brilliant as the sun. You just say the word and heaven has begun. We're sitting on a gold mine. Oh, we're sitting on a gold mine. Our treasure has been right here all the time. We're sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on a gold mine.